This is homemade stain. I made it with white cider vinegar. They're in my window, right there. There's 6 of them. It's white cider vinegar and steel wool. And you let the steel wool sit in the white cider vinegar for a certain amount of time. This is 24, 36, 48 hours, 72 hours. And the reason those two are cloudy is because they're mixed up. Like if you take this one and see, it likes to settle afterwards. I'm gonna put it in the window because I want to see if the sun affects the color at all. These two, I can't remember how long, like what stain I used. I think it's the 24, just because it's lower. That's got red RIT dye, and that's got blue RIT dye. So those come out as like a red and a blue. Looks kind of neat, I think, at least. But anyways, my original trials didn't really show a whole lot of difference. But now they've been sitting for a month and a half, I think, or something like that. At least more than a few weeks. They like to turn my bench like a dark color. I started painting on my bench a little bit just because I spilled quite a bit. So I figured I'd make my whole bench the same color. This is some 24-hour stain that I took an air hose to. And it did that. It's kind of neat looking, actually. But I'm gonna cover it up. And then that's actually just some vinegar I dumped in one of the jars I had that still had some remnants of crap in it. Because the process is you put steel wool into vinegar, let it sit for a certain amount of time, however long you really like. If you could figure out a perfect amount of time for that type of steel wool, then awesome. And depending on what you actually like, what effect you're looking for. All of mine seem to kind of do the same thing. So I think you should leave it in for longer than 72 hours. Like maybe do a 24, 48, then like a week. I don't know. I also used quadruple aught steel wool. Everything else I saw online was saying to use like double aught or triple aught. I think the quadruple aught steel wool disintegrated a bit too much, which is why all of my stains seem to be kind of chunky. Like you get a lot of little remnants and floaties in there. Doesn't really hurt nothing. I mean, you shake it up, let it settle a second, and then start painting it on. And I'll show you. It actually goes on like water. And I really like the effect. Especially with this crappy yellow pine. Because these are just studs. Some of them are, you can tell a color difference. It's starting to dry out. I did this a little bit earlier, screwing around. But there's a difference between the Home Depot studs and the Lowe's studs. The Home Depot studs tend to be like a richer red. And the Lowe's studs are like a bright yellow. So I think that's where we're getting the dark, light variations. But as it sits, it just darkens up. Because apparently it's pulling tannins out of the wood. And depending on how many tannins the wood has, the darker it'll get. Now I had a piece of oak that I tried. Oh, I can't show it to you, I wish I could. But it's gone. That piece of oak was from a piece of furniture that's been sitting, dried out for God knows how long. I mean, years, probably. Well, since at least like 2007 or something like that. So I don't know if that like dries it out more so that there's less tannins in it. These are all these studs are less than 6 months old. I don't know how long they sit in at the store or how long they sit at the stud factory. But it's much fresher than the oak. But as you can see, it goes on like water and ends up turning really dark. And it's hard to tell with the video, but this is a more red, like almost a mahogany color. And I'm pretty happy with the look. And you can see where on the front, oh, look, hey, it also makes steel rust real quick. Anywhere that the front is a little beat up, it darkens up a little more. Because you can see like the half circle to where I've been cranking down my little nuts. But it gives it this good kind of old distressed look. There's a couple spots where I was working on another project and I clear coated it like that. That's clear coat. There's some clear coat there, so it's not gonna leach in as much as the rest of the stuff, like clear coat. But it is really neat. Kind of impressed. I think I'm gonna do my whole bench this way. And then it'll match the original, like, I don't know what those are from. They're timbers. There's another one over there. I did my whole bench. It does dull up, like after it dries, it'll dry into that. Now this is just a workbench, so I'm not looking to make this thing super fancy or pretty or anything. I'll probably clear coat it just to protect it, maybe bring the stain out a little bit more so it stays kind of a richer color instead of dulling up dirty like that. Well, one of the other really nice things about this is that it's just vinegar. White cider vinegar and steel wool. I mean, you can open a window, have some ventilation, and you won't even be bothered at all by it. I redid the entire thing again. Well, I didn't redo the entire thing. Just trying a little quicker there. I did notice, I'm trying to see it here. Not so much here, but here. You get water spots. just like if you leave the glass on a coffee table. If you lay it on a little too thick, then you'll get this defined line on where it settles and dries. So I wiped it all down again real quick, where it was drying faster and where I didn't actually do anything. And hopefully that will make it so it's not so obvious that there was like a dark line. But if it does, whatever. Like I said before, it's just a workbench. Nothing super fancy. And when it finishes drying, I'll clear coat it and get some pictures, see what she looks like. Thanks.